This is the EWN Podcast Network.
Welcome to Late Boomers, our podcast guide to creating your third act with style, power, and impact. Hi, I'm Cathy Worthington.
And I'm Mary Elkins. Join us as we bring you conversations with successful entrepreneurs, entertainers, and people with vision who are making a difference in the world.
Everyone has a story, and we'll take you along for the ride on each interview, recounting the journey our guests have taken to get where they are, inspiring you to create your own path to success. Let's get started. Hello. Welcome back to Late Boomers Podcast. I'm Cathy Worthington, and I'm here with Mary Elkins.
And I'm Mary Elkins. And hello, everyone. This week, we're doing something very different. We don't have a guest. Instead, the two of us are going to talk together about relationships in the second half of life, a topic that's very near and dear to our hearts.
Right. And then next week, we'll return to having a guest. But today is a conversation between Mary and me, sharing what we've learned, what we've experienced, and what the science tells us about it.
Yes. So let's go for it. Let's jump in.
So to begin, let's remind listeners why relationships remain or become even more important as we age. It's not just about companionship, but health, resilience, and meaning.
That's really true, Cathy. For example, research shows that greater social integration is associated with a lower risk of psychological dysregulation, which really means slower wear and tear in our body.
Yeah, and physiologically speaking, yes. And the Harvard study of adult development often gets cited. Those who maintained warm, supportive relationships lived longer and had better health outcomes.
Absolutely. And more especially and specifically for our theme, older adults often report fewer conflicts and more satisfaction in social interactions compared to younger adults, mainly because they cultivate relationships more selectively and they avoid negative dynamics.
I know I do. That fits with socio-emotional selectivity theory,
That's
which is quite a mouthful.
Word. That's
quite. Our research is pretty good. As time horizons shrink, people grow more selective about how they spend their time and their emotional energy, preferring emotionally rewarding relationships.
That's very true. So having established the why, let's talk about what changes and challenges people face in relationships in midlife and beyond.
Well, one big shift as people age, their social networks often shrink. Friends can move, health can limit your mobility, or some relationships fade. Maintaining meaningful ties takes more intention.
That's true. And certain stressors emerge, like your health declines, or you have caregiving burdens, or you've lost your spouse or partner, or you've had cognitive changes. One recent study tracked how adults of different ages negotiate relationship changes during life events. And it shows that older adults often must renegotiate their roles and their boundaries and experiences.
Yeah. And all their expectations and everything, because full disclosure, Mary and I have both lost our spouses kind of late in life, or not. Well, yeah, a little while ago. There's also the risk of social isolation and loneliness. Research underscores that isolation and loneliness in older adults raises risks for depression, anxiety, even cognitive disorder.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yucky.
And on that front, on the cognitive front, meta-analyses show that strong social relationships, including structural, functional, and quantitative aspects, are associated with less cognitive decline over time.
Well, that's good, Mary, and especially good on the research.
Yeah, right.
And interestingly, group-based physical or cognitive activities help, not just for fitness, but for social connection. And those these relational factors feed into improved quality of life. Like in my neighborhood, we have a walking group, and 7 days a week, we're out there at 8 a.m. Whoever makes it, and we all get together. And we have people in that group in their 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and we just lost our 92-year-old. But it's a wide range. And one law student, when she comes home, who's like 23, she walks with us. She loves the intergenerational thing.
Yeah, that's so important for all of us. And as relationships age, sometimes the demanding ties, those that require emotional labor, caretaking, and conflict, it might increase. And part of the job is to evaluate what relationships are life-giving and which ones are draining. And also, I wanted to add, when you were talking about your walking group, I walk every morning with my dog, and I am energized when I meet up with my neighbors. There's so much to talk about. What are they doing that day? What are they doing? What did they do over the weekend? What are they reading? What art exhibits have they gone to? There's just so much
Yeah,
that you can connect with, and I just find that really life-giving.
that's fantastic. And let's see how we can get practical here. Practical. I'm sorry. If someone feels their relational life has thinned out, or they want more richness, how do they begin?
Right. So the research tells us, and certainly our hearts tell us, to lean into shared activity. Join groups around things that you love, like art or hiking or music, writing, whatever. Being around people doing what they enjoy makes connection much more natural.
Yeah, like you have that writing group,
That's
Mary.
right. I had the writing group. And I'm
Talk about
thinking,
that. How does
uh,
that work for you?
well, it was online after COVID, but you still you share your writing, and you're really sharing your heart with people, and it's just so wonderful to have that type of emotional connection. And also, too, I'm thinking about taking tennis again. I haven't played tennis in 30 years, and I'm thinking about
And
doing
lots of
that.
people who used to play tennis are taking up pickleball.
Yes, they
That's
are.
the biggest thing. And also, I think we had to lean into shared activity, but second, also reconnect with old friends or acquaintances,
Yeah.
because sometimes relationships are dormant. They're not dead. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You reach out to somebody that you used to know, and you find a lot of things still in common. Like I reached out to somebody I hadn't spoken to in 20 years, and we still have overlapping interests now. We love horses, we love dogs,
Yeah.
and it's just become a steady friendship. It's great.
Yeah, it is great. I have a girlfriend who I haven't seen her since middle school, and we reconnected, and now we go and we go to plays together in musicals, and she's introduced me to her friends, and it's really, really rewarding. And also, we talked about intergenerational relationships, younger and
Mhm.
older people connecting, mentorship, shared interest across age groups, community programs, which brings fresh, young, and energy and fresh perspective and purpose. I have to add, I have a girlfriend who used to go see her 100-year-old mother at a home, and she connected with all the old people. And she said the stories that they told her about their lives were incredible. She had never known anything about these people before. And now they
And
became,
also that makes their day because they get somebody young that hasn't heard their story.
that's right.
They could tell stories to, because everybody there has already heard it.
Yeah, and also if people have dogs or even cats, mostly dogs, they can go to an old folks' home or a retirement place, a village, even a hospital, and people love to pet dogs and hold animals. It really connects them with a
I
big heart.
I see people on Instagram that bring horses to hospitals
Oh,
and old folks' homes and stuff. And the horses are kind of magical too.
yeah.
Also, we want to talk about romantic or companion relationships later in life.
Yes.
So, for those, as you explore those, maybe you go on a dating app, maybe you meet somebody organically, Maybe somebody you knew in high school is a new flame now. Maybe somebody that knew your husband, which happened to me. There's all kinds of things like that. But approach with intention. It the research shows talk openly about your expectations, your boundaries, maybe your finances, your health, your caregiving roles. I read a study of newly formed adult couples that found that they experience some emotional distress on tension-laden days compared to younger couples. I would have thought it would be the reverse.
Well,
But it suggests navigating conflict skillfully is especially crucial.
yeah, well, I think we accept less stress when we're older. We've been through it, we've had it, we've raised kids, we've had good or bad marriages. So yeah, we are more selective. And also, it's important to be vulnerable and curious. Ask deeper questions of people you meet, like what has changed for you over the years? Or what are your hopes and worries and dreams? And that helps accelerate intimacy.
And I need to remember that because I always forget to ask those kind of questions. Those
Yeah,
are beautiful
they
questions.
really are.
It forces people to think, but I think they can appreciate that you ask them that you want to hear the answer.
Yeah.
And also don't underestimate the power of small rituals like weekly calls, walks, book exchanges, things that anchor connection.
Yeah, I told you about my 93-year-old friend who calls his friends every month to make sure that they're still alive. But
Very good idea.
yeah. And I also have a friend who lost her longtime partner, and she was feeling very adrift for a while. And then she joined a local community choir simply because she enjoyed singing. So over time, she met people she clicked with and became part of a close group. And now they meet monthly for dinner, they travel together, and they support each other through times of even illness or loss. And the choir gave her a relational home that she just didn't expect or imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a friend that the same thing happened to. She joined a choir with her mom, and they've gone to Europe and stuff. And her mom's well into her 90s, but loves travel. They go on cruises, they do all these
Wow.
things, and they sing together. That's the most important.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I have a friend who is widowed in his 60s, and he started attending a weekly walking and talking group in the city park. And because there are meetups everywhere you can join, and he
Wow.
struck up conversation, and which has happened to both of us. You realize you've recently both lost a spouse, and they're navigating reinvention together.
That's
They
it.
now go to lectures and share memories, and they're volunteering together.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know you can reinvent yourself at any time of life. And I
Hmm.
also read about a coffee club of women who I'd met in grade school. And despite decades of geographic dispersion or continued monthly meetups in person or virtually, and over time, they supported each other. And they, even through divorces or illnesses, grandkids, losses, then the friendship becomes a backbone for resilience. And that's really important.
Hmm. Yeah, and both you and I have book groups that have gone on for years and years and years. And if you don't have one that's gone on, why not start one now?
That's a
Because I
great
know you
idea.
can find people that would like to read the same type of thing you'd like to read. You could, that's just a little idea I thought of. But let's talk about internal barriers.
Hmm.
Some listeners might think, we've talked to guests on our show about this,
Yeah, we
they
did.
might think it's too late, or who would want to be friends with me now? And that fear can hold you back.
And I think everybody goes through that at some time, but it's something that connection can help get you out of those feelings. And it's really important to shift your mindset. See relationships as a living conversation, not something you either have or don't. And give yourself permission to try and adapt, even walk away or lean in.
Hmm. Agreed. Also, expect some failed attempts, everybody. Not everyone you try to connect with will click, and that's okay.
It is okay. And your physical health, your mobility, your sensory limitations, these are real constraints. So sometimes connection, they have to adjust to you and more, make more phone calls and have virtual meetings if you can't go out, and
Mhm.
join your neighbors, have neighborhood meetings.
And guard against overburdening one person. Even the best friendship needs balance. We need a relational ecosystem. I
Well,
love that
I was
idea.
about to say that. Yeah,
Not dependence on a single go-to. Like,
that's
don't put the pressure on somebody.
That's right. And let's offer our people in our audience a mini exercise or two they can do this week, and it will help deepen relationships. Like, I'm going to list this, but
Okay.
list two people that you'd like to invest in, like an old friend or a neighbor or acquaintance, and reach out, send a message, suggest a walk or a chat. And then try a new group. Pick one interest based group or class to attend and ask the deeper questions, something you haven't asked someone before. So, like, what gives you hope these days? Or what surprised you in this stage of life? And
That's the
also,
scary one.
yeah, set a small ritual, a weekly call, a monthly check in, something simple to anchor that connection.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, we
And
have
as
to
we
do it.
wrap up, I want to emphasize relationships in the second half of life deserve our creativity. They deserve our courage and our intentionality. We've got fewer years ahead than behind, and those years can be luminous if they are shared.
That's so true. And sometimes we think, well, gee, it takes so much energy to be creative and have courage. But you know what? Being creative and having courage gives you energy. And also, our prior
Oh,
losses and our wisdom and our changing priorities, make sure they don't block us, because they really equip us. They help us
hmm,
form ties that are more honest and deeper and more resilient.
yeah, thank you. And Mary, thank you for this conversation.
You too,
And thank
Cathy.
you.
Thank you.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. We have to admit that we've had a decades long friendship, and we nurture it, we work on it, and we do our podcast together for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And we hope to give you some encouragement and ideas to experiment with your relational life.
And next week, we'll be back with a guest to talk about another topic relevant to our late boomers audience. So until then, reach out and connect, show up. And relationships are part of what makes us, our second half, so rich.
Take care, everyone. And may your heart and your relationships blossom. And
Yeah.
don't forget to subscribe to Late Boomers on YouTube and on your favorite audio platform so you don't miss a single episode. Thanks again, Mary.
And thank you, Cathy.
Thank you for joining us on Late Boomers, the podcast that is your guide to creating a third act with style, power, and impact. Please visit our website and get in touch with us at lateboomers.us if you would like to listen to or download other episodes of Late Boomers. Go to ewnpodcastnetwork.com.
This podcast is also available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and most other major podcast sites. We hope you make use of the wisdom you've gained here and that you enjoy a successful third act with your own style, power, and impact.